What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, part 3 of our E36 build. And now that the thunderstorm has passed, I can actually start vlogging, which is nice. This episode, we're finally getting to some fun stuff. So we're starting with, as you guys just saw, the interior, and it is quite a mess at the moment, but that is pretty much how we like it, because it means the transformation to where we finish off with is going to be rather large. So the plan for the interior is basically to strip everything, have it completely white, take everything away that we don't need, and just have the basics. The important thing about the interior of like your drift car or race car is you want it to feel super comfortable, because it's the space that you're going to be, you know, you're in when you need to get into the headspace for competition, or even just, you know, fun drifting with mates. The more comfortable you are in the space, the cleaner it feels, the better it feels, the better you feel when you actually, you know, operate the vehicle. So I'm aiming for this just to be really clean, super tidy, and complete opposite to what our last car was. So this car already came, like I said, with the Chase Bays handbrake plate welded in, which is cool. So I kind of just dummied up our Chase Bays handbrake for now. We've kind of got a spaghetti mess of wiring going on, and although that does look intimidating, it's actually not really when you break it down. So we're going to be removing pretty much everything we don't need, keeping what we can, and yeah. So first things first, I'm not really gonna do a bunch of talking. We're gonna be fitting the wide body in this video as well, so that's something exciting for you guys to look forward to. But first things first, what we're gonna do is just take everything out of this engine bay, out of this interior that we do not need. So I'm gonna set you guys on time lapse, and yeah, let's get rid of all the crap pretty much. For an update. I've been absolutely slogging away on the interior, and I'm pretty happy so far with the progress. So everything's pretty well cleared out. I went ahead and cut pretty much all the little nibbly bits that will stick out of the chassis, just that hold all the wires and stuff, and cut them all out, because we're going to be P-clipping our wires all up out of the way. So usually all the wires will run through kind of the middle of the car and stuff like that, and then up here through this alleyway, but they're all long enough as to where you can actually run them all up the side of the car, P-clip them out of the way beautifully, so they're all kind of nice, neat and tidy. These are the nibbly bits that we cut off. They're little threaded bits that hold all the wires. So, and we'll run them up the side. I'm also going to rewrap stuff, because all this looks crappy at the moment with all this old 35-year-old wrap kind of hanging off the wiring, which just looks ugly. So we want it all to look tidy. So we're going to tidy it all up. But I vacuumed everything out, wire wheeled everything, so it's looking all pretty darn handy. We've got a foot plate that's going to go here. They're custom made by Nathan at Burnouts Unlimited, that we will be selling on Two Step Garage again. I know I'm saying that a lot, but we've got all the products coming. So we're going to have a nice foot plate right here, which is going to be awesome. And of course, we're about to paint the interior all white, which is going to be cool as well. Next up, I'm actually going to reinforce this mount, because obviously we yank on that e-brake as Bellwell tells us to do in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Handbraking is the easiest, so the first thing I want you to do, I want you to rip that e-brake.
At the moment, this is triangulated by one little piece of metal right here. We're going to go ahead and triangulate it with another two. So what I've done, cut out a piece of cardboard that fits nicely in our space, just like that. It's going to go against the tunnel and against our mount. And then you go trace around this onto the middle, cut it out of metal, and boom, we're going to weld that on in there, and it's the same on the other end as well. Wire wheel everything off, and then when we paint it all up, it's going to look absolutely beautiful. It's going to be nice and strong. We don't have to worry about that come competition day, which is going to be fantastic. We've even removed some of the plates that were on the body here that looked a bit ugly. I drilled through the spot welds a bit hard, so we're going to weld these holes up as well. Then we'll go ahead, mask everything up, and we'll paint it. Alright, so our plate is now welded in the car. That's the last little bit of fab work I had to do. So right now I'm gonna set you guys up on time lapse and we're gonna go ahead and paint the interior, and then that should be that locked off, and then we can move on to fitting this wide body. Let's go, it's hot. Of a fiasco. I had a couple of dramas with the spray cans. I opened them and it broke the cap as I opened them on 2 of the cans, and they were the last 2 white cans that I had. So I came up with the idea of basically emptying the cans very strategically into my spray gun, and we ended up doing the last of it with a spray gun, which actually worked awesome. So kind of much easier than using cans and got the coverage way faster. But currently what we are looking like, so it's looking pretty awesome. It's a nice clean slate for us to start with, which is just super nice. I haven't sprayed like the back yet, unsure if I will or not. Obviously it's already white, so I've also laid down sparkle on this just to, you know, give it that last little extra finish, so when the sun shines and the passengers are in the passenger seat, they'll see a couple sparkles, which is rad. Of course, a couple of you guys will be questioning why we didn't remove the sound deadening like a lot of people and professional race car builders and stuff do. A lot of them do it for saving weight. We don't need to save weight. The car's already really fast. It wasn't a massive worry for me, but I actually left the sound deadening in because it makes the car feel, for me anyway, less like a tin can when you're driving it. So it soaks up a little bit of the rattles and all that stuff. So I prefer to leave it in. It would have probably looked a little bit better removing it when painting the floor and stuff like that. I don't think it's a massive deal personally. Definitely wanted to go ahead and remove it just for looks, but that's quite a big job, and again we're on a strict timeline. It's all personal opinion, you know what I mean? But man, that looks pretty sick. I'm freaking stoked with that. So I'm gonna go ahead. We've got our cage that we painted as well. Man, look how dirty this place is. When you're doing stuff, it's just non-stop. Yeah, everything gets so dirty, so I'm gonna spend a bit of time again tonight cleaning this up after we stop filming. But we're gonna go ahead, we'll chuck our newly painted cage in the car and just fit it up, because we need to put side intrusions on it. More protection is always good, especially for my passengers, because, you know, I want to keep you guys safe. You, right there in the camera, I can see you. Dang, suss that out. That is a frickin' vibe. How good does that look? Wicked, wicked, wicked. I'm actually over the moon with that. That is a frickin' amazing result. Here is the other side. As soon as you start adding stuff after painting the interior of the car, it just starts to look awesome, which is, I'm so pumped. I'm gonna call it a night right now because I'm absolutely stuffed, but tomorrow morning, same video, we're gonna come back and we are gonna start fitting up our 75mm Fitment Lab Phase 3 wide body. But right now I'm gonna go eat some food, get some sleep. I actually might play some video games and then get some sleep, but I'll see you guys in the morning. Bye. Body time, which is the best time. So we have our 75mm Phase 3 Fitment Lab kit here. This stuff is absolutely beautiful. I managed to grab this kit for a steal off Facebook Marketplace, which I'm just over the moon about, because I really wanted a nice kit to go on this new build, and we got it. The only problem with this kit is it is a coupe kit, and obviously we have a sedan shell, but we've never let anything like that stop us before, and we shan't let it stop us now. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to make this work. It kind of fits. We've mocked it up a little bit, and it fits enough to where we're going to be happy with it. So it's hard to do with the camera in one hand, but pretty much if you hold it up, it goes a little something like this. So there's just a couple of bits like that bit sticking up there that we're going to cut to match the door line, and then what we're going to do is we're actually going to bog the doors, the door line shut once we've finished everything in the car. And if we need to like change a fuel pump or whatever, you just wind down the window. It's pretty easy, so it's not going to affect us too much. And on the last car I actually had the flares welded over the doors as well, so it won't be any different, and I never had to open the rear doors at all for any reason. So we'll bog these lines before we wrap them, and it's going to look like a very interesting kind of long coupe. Now one thing you'll see here is we have a fuel flap here, so I'll open this. So I made the fuel cap match the outer of the wide body kit, because inside you can see the fuel flap doesn't quite match up, and it would have looked a little bit ugly had I left it normal. So you can still fill the fuel up, no worries, but this fuel cap, look at that, works just like stock. It's so good. I made a wee bracket on the inside. It's just an L bracket here, and it literally bolts up as stock, which I'm pretty happy about. But it just sits flush with the body kit, which actually looks really cool as well. So it's just a nice added touch. But pretty much what we're going to do right now is we've got our drill. We're going to tape it onto the body, make sure it's in the right spot. We'll drill our holes, and then we're mounting it with these beautiful purple dress-up washers that'll go along with the color and look of the car. We're not going to put many in, because you don't need a whole heap. I've seen a bunch of people like do a huge amount of bolts to hold their wide body on, and to me that looks a little bit tacky. So I'm going to set you guys up on the tripod. We'll go ahead, we'll mock this up. Let's go. Alright, so we get our first look at the car, looking kind of like an actual car. Pretty stoked. So used a couple more bolts than what I would have liked. So currently it's just mocked up with Tech screws. So drill a small hole with the drill, and then I put a Tech screw in, but the Tech screw is smaller than the M6 riv nut that we're going to be using. So they basically hold it in place, and then where all the holes are from the Tech screws, boom, 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 we put riv nuts in, and then put the nice dress up washers. So that's how I do it. It's probably a bit of a jiggy way compared to like those cool fittings that you can get that hold the wide body on to test fit it all, but hey, it works and I'm happy with it. So I've marked out a couple of spots where I'm going to just take some of the fiberglass away to help the kit sit a bit flatter on the car and make it look a bit better. But I cut this line away, it looks pretty nice. I'm going to tidy it up when it's off the car. And then down the back here, so these kits are pretty cool in the sense that, see this is how they fit. So they have a gap right here, which is rad, and I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do with this gap to make it look pretty cool. But under here we're going to be making some L brackets that weld to the car, and then we're going to riv nut the kit to those L brackets just to make sure the kit's nice and sturdy in the rear end. But it's looking pretty sick. I'm definitely pumped on this. So it's going to be quite an unusual looking car, but overall I think it's going to look really freaking cool. So now that we have the rear set up, we're going to move on to doing the front. Also, you might notice I have a side skirt down here. I like to try like different things to see what side skirts and stuff will fit on the E36s, and this time, because last time we ran the Toyota 86 side skirts, but you had to chop a lot off this fender to get them to fit, so I had to chop like, I think it was like this much off the fender, which I didn't mind at the time, but with this new setup I don't want to do that again. I want to try and keep it looking as clean and chill as possible. So these are CJ Lancer side skirts that I got off Marketplace. They were $100. CJ Lancers are everywhere, so I figure if these work. I did some research online, and they're 1.9 meters long versus our 1.95 meter long side skirt span on our E36. So all we have to do is chop off 2.5 centimeters on this side, 2.5 centimeters on that side, which is barely noticeable, and then these should fit right up. They need a bit of cutting, but they will hopefully fit and give us all the low boy looks that we are after. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna dummy up this front fender. So these need cutting also, so they fit pretty well. Front matches up, but the rear, because the coupe is too long. So what we're gonna do is we fit them up, and then we'll take the guard off, mark up where we need to cut down here, and then we just cut the back off, and Bob's your uncle, chuck them back on, and they're good to go. So let's get that done. Bad at all. Look at that. She is beautiful. So wide. It's gonna look freaking sick. So currently I just have a bolt sitting in there holding these out, so that's how the gap looks. I was unsure about the gap, but then I saw a video of a build breakdown of Larry Chen and this beautiful E36 that he had a look at. I'll chuck it on the screen right now, but they've got these little vents in the gaps that like fill the gaps out and make it look so freaking sick. And as soon as I saw that, I knew that I'd be able to make this work and make it look cool. So we'll be making those little vents that'll go in gaps, which will be sick. But look at that. So we managed to get the side skirts to fit pretty darn well. And I'm not too mad at the way that they look. They've got like a square look to them where they kind of sit out from the car. But that's pretty rare because they actually meet the wide body. Like it all kind of matches up, which is pretty cool. So, and they just, the most annoying thing in the world is that middle dip in the middle of E36s. They just can't get them to look low without side skirts on them. And obviously these side skirts just flatten the bottom out, which is nice. And I went ahead and threw the bonnet on as well, just to kind of see how things were going to look overall. But have a look at how wide the front looks. But look at that. Woo! Looks so good. Those guards, 75 mils either side, so she's a lot wider than stock, which is wicked. This is the kind of fitment that we're going to be going for in the rear as well, so you start to get a real sense for how this thing is going to come together when it's all finished. And for me, it's just quite inspiring to kind of see the car start to actually look like a car again, because when you're working on it and doing all this prep work on it, it just looks the same for so long, and it's hard to envision or kind of see what it's going to look like when it all comes together. So I'm pretty happy and proud of this for sure. This is where I'm going to end this video though. It's probably going to be another pretty long one. Hope you guys are enjoying this series. Next week we're putting the motor back in the car. It's a big goal of mine. It's going to be a big milestone for the build, getting that in. Then we just got to do all the wiring, wrap the car, finish off a little bit of fabrication in the rear end, and this thing should be fairly well together. But as it sits, this thing is already looking a million times better than the last build, so we're improving, we're moving forward, and things are looking absolutely fantastic. Stoked on the frickin' interior as well. I am going to put support packages out that you guys can purchase to help with our season. I probably will know about those in the next video, but basically it'll be like a set cost. You'll get your name on the car, you'll get a team t-shirt, and maybe a couple of other things as well, and you can just be a part of the whole season, which is going to be pretty cool. So hopefully I should know a little bit more about that next video. Also drop the ankle clothing. We just got these pink hats back in stock. Freaking love this hat. They're made out of like a swim shorts material. Really nice shape. Freaking love it. They sold out super quickly last time, and they probably will sell out fairly quickly again. The link is in the description. Use the code MikeLikeGang, grab yourself 10% off the entire store. Supports the channel, and yeah, really appreciate it. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I always appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers. Peace. Bye.